There was a girl I used to know. Do you remember a blonde girl named? I follow her and her sister on Instagram, and her sister, she put on there that she finally went to see like a psychiatrist or whatever, and she's like getting help for her depression and shit. She was like being like very open about it, and I was like, God damn, dude, that's really fucking cool. Like, and I'd messaged her. Like, I never ever talked to her. I've spoken to her like maybe like 2 or 3 times in real life, and beyond that I've never spoken to her. But she was familiar with me because I was friends with her sister, and the few times we did talk, like, we just spoke as if we were just like friends or whatever. But I told her, I was like, yo dude, that's fucking awesome. Like, I'm legitimately proud of you. Like, that's great. I've been through the fucking ringer as well, and I totally know where you're coming from, and I totally get how difficult it is to even take that first step. And she was grateful that I'd messaged her and whatever. And I was like, yo, and the only reason I did this was because she's constantly posting about how much she loves Rareware games like Donkey Kong Country, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Kazooie. So that was pretty much the only reason why I decided. I was like, hey, yo, I just made this video. A couple people commented saying they resonated very well with it. You know, if you want, check it out. If you don't, you know, it's totally cool. Don't worry about it. And she checked it out, and she was like, there was so much that you said there that like I understood 100%. And I was like, oh, that's fantastic. And she's like, oh, and your editing is great, and whatever. And I was like, that's really nice. I don't know. It felt good. I don't know if I've said this to you, but I don't know why, but I have this like need to like try to fucking help someone who's dealing with that shit, because like I know exactly what it feels like. I know the type of shit people do when they feel that way, and I hate seeing someone else go through that. So it was really nice, you know, making that video and seeing people say like, oh, thank you for making this video. Like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, it feels good. Even just today, I always browse the video game board on 4chan, and there's a thread called like Sad Gamer thread, and basically it was just playing like oh, how are you feeling? What are you playing? And you know, how are you coping with everything? And I was just reading through it, and I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll fucking say my shit. I typed it all out and I posted it, and I was like, all right, you know what, OP, thanks for starting the thread. I actually feel a little better just letting this shit out. And one person responded, oh, what's your channel? And then another person, or then OP was like, oh, you know what, dude, you seem like you've gone through a shit ton of horrendous fucking garbage, but you also seem like you kind of like know yourself, and that's like a really good thing to have. And I was like, yeah, oh, awesome. Woo! Oh, shit! I didn't think the blast was going to be that big. An old coworker of mine, back when I was a groomer, we became really good friends. He randomly messaged me maybe like a month ago, and we were just catching up and shit, and I told him everything that happened, and he was like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude, I'm really sorry about that. Because like he was like one of the few coworkers, anyone outside of like school, who has ever seen us together, and we would always look like perfect. And that's what kills me even more. It's just the fact that it lasted so long, and then just out of nowhere this happens. And I don't, she said that it only ever started up in January, but who really fucking knows? Because she wouldn't ever talk to me about it. She wouldn't say anything about it. She wouldn't, I would ask these things and she wouldn't tell me. Yeah, she cheated on me. And then I was telling my old coworker, it's just like, it's shit that I'm never gonna get closure on. And I remember him specifically saying like, damn dude, like that's, you know, I'm really sorry to hear that. Like that's just straight up trauma. And like, that was the first time I've ever heard that word used for my situation. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, like, I'm having nightmares about it multiple fucking times a week. I'm thinking about it 24/7. That is what it is. My mom literally told me like, oh, you look skinnier, and I was like, just because I wasn't eating at all. I had no like desire to eat. There was one point where my mom was like, oh, how, like, you know, she'd ask me like, oh, how are you doing? Like, you look like you're doing better. And I'm like, no, actually, I'm not doing any better. I can't cry anymore. Like the crying is just like, every day, every couple of weeks, every couple of months. Maybe I look better on the outside, but no, not at all. I genuinely feel dead inside. Like, I can still laugh, I can still have fun, I can still joke around about anything and everything. Like, I'm still me, but on the inside, I'm genuinely dead inside. That's another thing that I'm like genuinely scared of. I feel like I'm not going to be able to have a regular relationship going forward. Like, that's one of the scariest things about this situation to me. Because before this happened, I was dealing with depression like hard fucking core, especially when I got laid off from a job I genuinely, like, for the first time could say that I loved. And like, that was the start of like me just like giving up on any sort of career. Like, that fucking moment. But like, I loved it so much, but like, I started seeing like the signs of like, okay, something's going on here. And then literally a week before they laid me off, I was in the kitchen. Like, I had gotten an email about a company party about because it was all done through the owner's house. There's like literally only like less than 20 employees, and I got an email because at that point I was like working from home. I had been working from home for a couple months now. I got an email about a company party, and in the email it said, "Oh, in our new office." And I looked at it and I was like, in our new office? This is the first time I had ever heard about there being a new office or an office period. And I was like, that's weird. I mean, like, I get maybe like eventually wanting to move the business out of your fucking home, but at the same time, it's like the business was so fucking small, it's like it didn't really make sense. And I was in the kitchen later that day with her while she was cooking, and I was like, I go up to her and I was like, I think I'm gonna get fired. And she's like, what? And then I told her everything that I told you, and I was like, yeah, I think they're gonna fire me. And then 1 week later, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, I get an email saying like, hey, there isn't enough work for you, blah blah blah, whatever. Because like there was more than just that. Like, my job was starting to be given to the videographers themselves, so there was like less work for me. So then I got the email and I was like, okay. I had worked at PetSmart. I had seen how a large corporation treats their fucking employees. So to go from a large corporation to something very small, very like, everyone, and then just ultimately realizing like, oh, you can't trust any employer. You can't trust any corporation. You can't trust any business, no matter how big, how small it is. They're all the fucking same. And that's why I don't want to work for anyone. That's why, as crazy as it seems, as stupid as it seems, it feels like content creation, being that sort of like influencer type shit, it really feels like that's the only situation where you can really work for yourself. I mean, like, I don't have the type of skills to like start my own type of like fucking business. So that's why I'm going all in on this. That's why I feel, and like the fact, like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I pay attention to what's going on. I've had people comment and praise my work, so like I have the confidence, and like I feel like I'm a charismatic enough person to be able to fucking talk to people. Like I said, like, I don't want to be that type of person who's just like, oh, I'm an influencer, but like I'm very private about my life. Like, no, I want to have like those extremely difficult conversations. Like, in that thread, that sad gamer thread, like I even said, like, it never made sense to me. Like, you go onto these streamers' profiles and you see their about me, or you see the rules, and they say like, oh, don't talk about like sad things, don't talk about like things that'll bring down the vibes or whatever. And I've never fucking understood that. And there are like multiple clips out there of people like doing exactly that, of like being shitty to their viewers, saying like, oh, don't talk about that stuff on stream. It's like, no, that's not okay. Like, these are the people who are supporting you. These are the people that are making your life possible. Like, if they're having a shitty day, like, fuck it, man. Talk to them about it. Try to, like, I know there's like that whole parasocial relationship, but I think there's a way to do it without being like, oh, come to me about everything. Rely on me about everything. I feel like you can hit a balance with it. I want people to see me as like a genuine fucking person. Like, I'm not scared to talk about this shit. I'm not scared to be fucking open. Like, last year I did 6 months every week doing a vlog type of like podcast type of shit, where I literally talk about like what exactly is happening with me, like what happened that week, how I felt. Literally, like, nothing was off limits. Like, I literally said every fucking thing. And there were those early days, there were fucking moments where I straight up almost cried. I'm sure I shed a tear at some point, and like, I'm okay with that. Like I said, I'm okay with being canceled. I'm okay with people knowing my name. I'm okay with the criticism. That's fine. Those vids aren't on YouTube anymore. I figured at this point, like, I'm pretty sure they were killing my chances of my channel being seen, because those videos were like at least an hour long, sometimes 2 hours long, of me just talking nonstop. And to have like long ass videos like that having no viewers on it, I'm pretty sure it was killing my channel visibility. So I just took them all off, and I put it on Patreon. I figured the type of person who wants to know about my personal life would be the type of person who would support me monetarily. And even then, it's not a story that I would leave paywalled. If someone wants to know the truth, if someone wants to know what happened to me, if they want to know why I went down this path, I'll tell them. Because I'm not scared to be that person anymore.